channeling the Joker today. So watch out, Batman. So, don't breathe. Who saw the movie last night? Give it a letter grade, A to E. A. Do we have any E's out there? Very good. Nicely done. Why is it an A?
Tension.
Tension. We're back on the goddamn tension. Kick ass. Okay, it's original. An original movie? You mean this isn't a sequel or a remake or a reimagining of something? Fede Alvarez did his own movie? What? That's outrageous! What do you want to get out of this panel today? What do you want to learn from this panel?
Everything about you.
It's not a panel about me. I'm here all weekend. We'll have our silly panels. Evil Dead 2, Watch Ash versus Evil Dead. Starting October 2nd, so let's get all those questions out of the way. This is about this movie.
Aw.
Get over it. Get over it. You will learn that this will be the movie panel that others will wish they had gone to after you guys learn the hidden truth behind the secret meaning of this movie. Which our filmmaker, I'm going to introduce one gentleman first and then another one. First, I'd like to bring out the director and writer of this, Mr. Fede Alvarez. Thank you for joining us. Please, yeah. Our plush couch.
Hey, yeah.
Fede, before we bring out our other distinguished guest, I want to ask you something. Why not make a musical comedy as your follow-up to the Evil Dead remake, which I think Fede did a great job. Why not just something your ma can go see and go, oh, Fede, that was so wonderful. What was your thinking after you made the remake? It was very successful. I think people dug it. Mm-hmm. Where was your mind at?
Really, after that movie, I remember going to Comic-Con San Diego when the Blu-ray was coming out. It wasn't until that moment that I realized there was actually people that enjoyed the film. Because you never know when they're coming out, doesn't mean that a lot of people are going to watch it, doesn't mean they liked it. So, but it wasn't until the Blu-ray came out that then people were coming to me and saying, love it, and so like, oh, I'm gonna make another movie for those guys. That was the
Where did the kernel of this idea come from? You wrote it with your partner.
Yep. We were driving back from that Comic-Con, actually.
You were?
Yeah.
We're going to come up with a cheeseball horror idea.
Exactly. So, like, what can we come up with that is, that is for that audience, but it's not the same movie again?
It's not somebody else's franchise.
Exactly. It's not your franchise. And you
now, Fede,
yeah. No.
Since this project was your own, what tone did you default to? You know, the Evil Dead movies, the first Evil Dead is sort of like a failed melodrama. The second one is kind of like slapstick. The third one is just like a ridiculous adventure story. You know, so they each had, I'm sorry to disappoint you again. They each had a slightly different tone and for different reasons. Did you initially decide, like, this is a balls out, straightforward, no yucky, just because the Evil Dead remake was, I don't know if you were trying to do this, but it was not funny.
Well, people were laughing a lot anyways.
People will always
my kind of audience laughs out loud.
They will. You can get audiences to laugh at something that when they're uncomfortable. But what was your goal with this movie?
With this movie, it's like, I really wanted to do something that was very suspenseful and that didn't have all the amount of blood that Evil Dead had. Evil Dead was all about the blood, and there was so much blood that I had enough blood for a lifetime. And I thought, well, can I do something that is shocking, but doesn't go for the gore?
Some of the classic horror movies, one of my favorite is The Haunting. Early Robert Wise, the black and white movie. There's no blood. I don't think you even see a creature in the whole movie. The original movie, The Thing. you only saw the creature probably 2 or 3 times. So yeah, there's other ways to present horror.
For sure, and that's what we try to do here. Like it's in the real world. It's not about ghosts. I think there's too many movies about family moves into a house, and there's a ghost, and shit goes down. Like I think there's other people doing those movies and they're doing a great job.
You moved the tombstones, but you didn't move the bodies. That sort of movie.
Yeah, like I don't want to do that. I didn't want to do something in the real world, like the original, like Psycho, right? Like those movies are scary because shit can happen to you, right? You come out of the theater thinking, that can actually happen to me tomorrow. What happened in the story? And ghost stories, like you got out of there, you go like, yeah, this shit doesn't exist, so I'm good.
Right, there's only so much you can get scared about. This, if it could actually happen on the 6 o'clock news, that it could be potentially scary. It could happen to you.
Exactly. And I think that goes a long way. It makes things scarier for me.
But it's not like bad things are happening in this world right now, Fede. I don't know why you would seem to be worried about random shootings and killings and, geez, I don't know. Anyway, I guess you think that's scary, but that's fine. Now, Fede, you had to have partners to work on this movie on screen, so I want to bring out our next distinguished guest, Mr. Stephen Lang. Now, all right, Stephen, what's the first phone call? How did it go down? I mean, we need you in this movie. Well, let's have lunch.
We can't make it without you.
Good, it's a great start.
The agent called, sent the script. I read the script, so this is intense. This is something I could get behind.
Now, you've done a whole sack of theater before you even got into 48 years of motion picture and television. Wouldn't you, I would think when I read your credits, I'm like, that's gotta help. Because in theater, you learn real pacing, you learn how to really build a dramatic piece without cuts.
What do you know of that? Are you a theater actor, Bruce?
Hey, you shut your little mouth.
Pretty serious discussion there, Fede.
Look, I know what theater is, Mr. Fancy Pants. I know the concept behind it. But it's so seriously though, that's gotta help when you can say to an actor, I'm just gonna shoot this. Because everything is done in 4,000 cuts, a shot. I would love knowing that I could work with a guy like you where you go, this is all one piece here. We're just gonna do this. So
it's made on, this film essentially is shot on a very finite, limited set. It's almost like a stage set in a way. And so, sure, I think that having worked in the theater helps in kind of every picture I've ever done in a way.
well, now you can be a twisted, weren't you Biff? Did you play Biff in the Dustin Hoffman?
I was actually Happy.
Happy, that's
now Malkovich played Biff.
Biff. So it's kind of like the house, same kind of Willie's house.
I hadn't thought of it, but it is a twisted version. Yeah, to this.
And I do want to ask you, you've done a lot of things, You got to tell me what your experience was like on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Because I think you were like random gun guy, I think was your credit.
Well, this
Gun thug guy.
is an important moment here because it is become almost, in my mind anyway, mythic that my appearance on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I'm going to tell you something confidentially, and I don't want you telling nobody else.
No, they won't tell anybody, don't worry about it.
I mean it. I'm taking names. I never did the French Prince of Bel-Air, and I didn't do the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air either. It wasn't me. But, or else it's possible I did it. And
I've denied a bunch of roles too. I understand that. That wasn't me.
Yeah, I couldn't have done it because I was Benson back in those days.
Now you have had an association with, I'd say, a fair amount of military projects. And you've done a lot for the military. I had a chance to go over to Iraq in '09.
Uh-huh.
And it's a very special I mean, I know you've gone and done that sort of thing. To me, it's very special. I felt very privileged because the average schmo couldn't go, hey, let's go over to a rack and see what's going on, unless you're Sean Penn, you know. Let's just walk into a war zone.
He goes to the other side.
Hey, lady. So, which was first, the chicken or the egg with you and a lot of military stuff?
I've always been interested in the military. I didn't serve in the military, and maybe, you know, that may be part of my reasoning or feelings for wanting to be as present as I can for them, I guess. And I did a piece, Beyond Glory, which was a military piece, and it plays very well for civilians as a straight theater piece, but I found I wanted to bring it to the troops, and so with the Department of Defense over the years, I've been able to take it all over the world, from Afghanistan.
They really appreciate that, you know, they do. It's a great.
But you know, it's true, and I bet you'll found this too, that they're so appreciative of you being there, but the truth of the matter is, I always feel I get so much more out of it than they do. It's very cool to do. And I'll just add parenthetically that the movie Beyond Glory, which I wrote, will be out October 4th on iTunes. You can get it, so please.
Thank you. All right, now fellas, I think we've got something that we want to show, if I'm not mistaken, before we continue with this fascinating conversation.
You know, Fede and I are here really to talk about, promote, show our new film, Don't Breathe. Fede wrote and directed this film, and so we'd like to introduce a clip right now, which is, I believe, the Red Band trailer. You all know what Red Band trailers are, right? And I am not one who is ever prone to get on stage and use profanity, but I gotta tell you that this fucking clip is really fucking good. It's gonna fucking make you wanna fucking watch this fucking movie. I'm not fucking kidding, right? So, for all you fuckers out there, I want to present the fucking Red Band trailer of Don't Fucking Breathe.
Dolly, just watch it. Crazy. That looks cool. It does. All right, let's talk about a little working procedure here. Some directors, they storyboard everything. They want you to be a little chess piece in their chess game. How did you guys work it out? Because everybody's different. Every actor's different. Some actors are like, don't tell me, let me just do it, or sure, I'll do anything you want, because they like the director's vision. And other actors, you can't get them to do anything. You know, and we've all been there with all these different stages. Sometimes an actor's belligerent for a good reason, other times they're pissed about something else. You know, so these are long, hard shoots. This is not two guys hanging out cracking jokes, you know, after work. There's a lot of difficult stuff. So how did you guys get your working thing going?
I mean, usually what I try to do for the actors, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I try to be helpful in a way, right? Like, it's really like, no, because there is a thing as, directing too much, right? And just talking too much, and then you're giving the actor a lot of things that they don't need and have no use for, right? And so at least my approach was always, we're chatting, sometimes you'll tell me like, yeah, I got it. And you want to show me something before I give you any direction. He has already an idea, or he asked me a question.
I wanted everything I could get from Fede, and we had it was pretty meticulous, but he gave me so much room. Also, he he wanted me to discover stuff that he wanted to be surprised, and I think what it is that if you form that contract of trust, then there's just this sort of freedom that exists before.
Trust is very liberating.
Oh,
that's my favorite working with my buddy Sam Raimi, is that it's his deal. He's stepped back, he's got the overall picture, and you know when a director has your back. And you know when they don't. And that's the most terrifying thing ever. And it's when you go, I'm going on autopilot.
it's one of the most important things to be able to suss out where a director is at and how you can best utilize a director. And as you say, there are some who are more useful than others. With Fede, I knew before I began, I knew from our conversations on the phone that I wanted to hear everything that he had to say.
Well, I also, when we did the Evil Dead remake, I wasn't involved in every step in the process, but I was going to be there for the casting because I wanted to see how Fede was with the actors and what actors did he want to pick. So basically, about the second or third day, I went, "Oh, we're good." Yeah, oh, totally, because I could hear the actor do the take, Fede would come in, make the adjustment, and the take was better.
Yeah.
And they seemed to clearly understand what the difference was, and I enjoyed what he cared about and what he didn't care about, because that's another important thing too. Films can become very
I
precious.
used some direction. Remember that? I should release something. If you give me a permit. We did this thing, and we spent a lot of time in that room, the two of us, reading people for that film, and then it became this. I can't tell the story, Bruce.
Whatever, it's your story.
We basically said, like, what if we played this thing as if Bruce Campbell tried to get into this movie, to get cast in the movie? So it's Evil Dead, but Bruce Campbell would try to show up in the room, like, pretending he's somebody else, to see if he can get into the movie. So Bruce dressed up, like, with a cool hat, like was a young Hollywood actor, and wandered into the room.
But he nailed that audition.
I think you did, and I have it on tape, and if you allow me, I'll release it to the
I'm
world.
sorry your vision didn't encompass. So, all right, Stephen, we got to talk about the James Camerons of the world. Is he the bossiest director you've ever worked with? He seems like a really bossy director. Like, everyone shut up and listen to me. Lang, shut up and get in your mark. Roll sound or I'll punch you in the face. I mean, is that what we're talking? Am I exaggerating? He's calmed down a bit, I think.
I think Michael Mann is
Perhaps the most high-strung.
bossier than. But
Now, what do you do in a situation like that?
well, again, it's when I talk about sussing out a director, and with Michael, who I've known and worked with over the years, my policy there is yes, sir, no, sir. That was my fault, sir. That's kind of it. Jim is he's just fun to work with.
Now, supposedly he likes working with actors, does he not?
Well, I think he's magnificent with actors.
Because you think he would be a technocrat. A lot of these guys who come from these very visual backgrounds, they don't know what to say to actors.
Well,
honestly.
He's clearly the entire package. Look at the performances that he's elicited from actors over the years.
Yeah.
Just look at, I can name 40 performances in Titanic alone that are spot on.
Mine got cut out. I was a little off.
Or 39.
I was thinking of Billy Zane, and as a quick little scene, and I understand they had other priorities they had there.
Yeah, but to me, Cameron, he's really the Leonardo of our age, because he blends being an artistic visionary with being he's really got the soul of an engineer as well. He likes making things.
Now, okay, here's another question. Are you a Video Village guy? Does anyone here know what a Video Village is? On movie sets now, they have what we call Video Village. 700 monitors, and everyone's looking at a monitor, all looking at different things. And the actors are way over there. And you hear, okay, cut. Give us a gun again, go again. What? You put the spoon in your right hand. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And look, these big shoots, these big sets, understandably, you got 9 cameras, you want to look at all of them. Are you hard to find on set? The Spider-Man movies, half the time I was just going, can I talk to the director? Because, am I in the shot? Am I in the shot?
Fede was constantly on the set. It was pretty close quarters. Video Village was not far at any time. But in answer, I'm not a Video Village guy, with the exception of a stunt. I always want to see how a stunt, how it's coming out of a fight. Anything like that, because I like that stuff. I take a lot of pride, and I want to
see if it looks cool.
It looks good. It's me at my best. Acting, not so much.
Now, Fede, this is your second motion picture. You've done other visual things, shorts and things like that, but this is really just your second feature. What was your takeaway from the first feature to this one? Like, you came in and went, never going to do this again, or I'm going to do more of this. What did you learn?
It wasn't much about that. What I learned on Evil Dead was that the thing that the audience hates, and kind of love at the same time the most, is when the characters do something very stupid and horror movies, right? Like
you like that or you don't like that?
And the audience, they reject that. Although in the moment there's a guilty pleasure, right? But like in Evil Dead, the girl's in the cellar, she was possessed, and now she presented like she's
I'm okay now. Ash, open the door. I'm alright now.
And in our movie we did it as well, and the girl goes start going slowly down in the cellar, and everybody in the theater goes like, oh my god, you idiot, and started screaming about terrible things. And I realized that's when the director or the writer is just like pushing the character in the direction where you go, hey, go down, you'll be fine, and then you just, turn off the light and you just, get them killed. And I learned that it's better if your characters behave in smart ways. And that's what's really something that we try to do in this film, and make sure that every decision we make in the film is something that you guys will do. And if they're going to try to do something, you will advise them to go in the other direction, and actually they take that advice and they go in that direction and they get killed. So you go like, oh, you better shut up and stop giving advice.
There's a lot of bait and switch here. There's a lot of kind of playing with your mind in this movie.
Yeah, I learned a lot from Rob Tapper, honestly. And Sam, of course, gets a lot of credit. He's always around. The one that was, I think, on Evil Dead, and the more mentor in a way for me doing the makeup video was Rob. Being there all the time and telling me the audience knows.
Right, and Rob Tapper, because the remake was shot in New Zealand, and Rob Tapper from Hercules and Xena and the Evil Dead movies, he lives there now. So, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that that's where that was going to be shot. But the crews are really good there.
Yeah.
Now, where do you film this? Partially in Detroit and partially where?
And all the exteriors of the movie is Detroit, but then we built the entire house inside a soundstage, so we went to Eastern Europe to do that.
Oh, you went to, was that Romania?
Budapest.
Budapest. Now, Stephen, have you worked in either, because I did a bunch of movies in Sofia, Bulgaria. Yeah, 4 movies. See, this is where the Sci-Fi Channel. Where do they make movies? Romania or Bulgaria? So if those movies look really weird, that's why. Here we are in Davenport, Iowa, with these Russian SUVs going by in the foreground, and these German cars that have a pressed paper shell, and if you got drunk enough, you could turn them over by yourself. So, what was that like making this movie there? I rented a movie there, and I had to draw pictures. I had a dry erase board in my office, and I'd go, a wrench, a monkey wrench. Monkey wrench, like a monkey would do. No, monkey wrench. Then I would draw a monkey wrench. How did it? There's not a lot of English going on in those countries.
Well, the Hungarian crews are terrific, and Budapest is a really good place to make a movie for a number of reasons. The main one is that the city of Budapest it's a lovely city. The main feature is the River Danube, which is gorgeous, right? But it does not take more than 2 or 3 days to kind of see the things in Budapest that you need to see, which means that on your day off, you don't have to feel guilty about not going to the cathedral or the art gallery. You can actually just take the day off there.
Really, it's like even big movies, we shot in the same soundstage that The Martian was shot in. That wasn't Mars, by the way, that was Budapest as well. Most movies, big movies, they go there because it can stretch their money, and everybody's trying to keep Hollywood in Los Angeles because most of us live there. We want to stay there. We don't have to travel so much to make movies. But
I enjoyed the gypsy panhandlers there. Very aggressive. Normally panhandling, they come up and hey, you know, how about look? And you go, no, I'm good, thanks. Or you give them some money and move on your way. Well, the gypsy woman would shove her baby in your face, but the baby's missing an arm. So they shove the stump in your face, and they put their hand out. And you go, no, I'm fine, I keep walking. And because they know you're an American, because we sound so loud, and we're Americans, we can see us from 100 yards away. She's not giving up. So I learned the trick is to speak French to them. Because they know that the French won't give them a dime. So the next day, she shoves a baby in my face. I said, je ne sais pas si le camion pourra traverser le pont. Which is, I don't know if the truck will be able to cross the bridge. But she didn't know, she turned and walked away. So, anyway, we can go back there, a little hint for you.
I'm going to
French, yeah.
file that.
So now,
Bruce has lines in different, you talk many languages, and usually it's one line that you say in one movie that you remember. Like that one in Spanish that you have.
what movie's that?
You have one line in Spanish that you say all the time, like they stop, the police stop you in your car.
Oh, yeah. Señor, por favor. Yo soy un actor de cine. Es muy importante regresar a la nave para el negocio.
And you don't get arrested, basically.
I talked my way out of that ticket. I'll have you know. What's next? Stephen, what's coming?
I'm going to head off to Ireland to do, there's a show, Into the Badlands. Y'all know that show? I play Waldo, the wheelchair-bound assassin. And I'm coming back as kind of for this season, just to be their permanent guest star. I'm a series irregular, is what I am. And I like the role. I get to, you know, he's in a wheelchair, but he kicks ass. He's fun. And so I'll do that. And then as the new year turns, we go to work and we're going to shoot 4 Avatar sequels. So that's what I'll do.
And so basically, and then that's gonna be 14 years of your life, right?
I'll be coming to the premiere.
I mean, honestly, can I just ask, listen, I don't want to get too personal. How many years does that mean you're under contract? You're like working for Universal again. I mean, four James Cameron movies is like 42 movies of anybody else.
It should be, I think that the whole process, you know, making the films and opening the films will go to about 2023. But, which is, you know, about when I'll probably be ready to retire.
My God, that's awesome. All right, Fede, what you got up your sleeve? Four movies with James Cameron? You direct 4 of them?
No, we're actually taking this time we're creating a couple of TV shows that right now I cannot talk about it, unfortunately, but you will hear about it pretty soon.
So you're expanding your oeuvre.
Yeah.
Into television, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
What genre?
Scary?
What?
Let's find out. What do you want to know?
What
There's 2
genre?
shows. One is actually a horror show.
Yeah.
Two shows, good.
We're working with.
So you want to be more of a puppet master,
Yeah.
right? And boss those young directors around.
Yeah. Well, I'll direct. I'll direct some episodes for sure.
That'd be good. You should. You should direct someday.
Good shot.
Okay, now let me make sure it's on track here. Are we showing another thing?
Yeah. Yeah. So, for some of you that are very sensitive to spoilers and don't want to see anything about this movie, just close your eyes and get out. We're gonna show you a little clip. It's early in the story, so it's not too spoilerish, but we'll give you a sense of what the movie's about.
Concept too, for a visual medium to have a character that can't see. So you love sound. We've always loved the sound process, especially in a horror movie. We think it's kind of 50% of what it is. This is obviously a good chance for you to have fun with that too.
Yeah, for sure. And because it's a movie that, as you see here, there's actually a script that is probably like 10 lines being said in the whole script. It's because of the premise of the movie. Like if you're trying to get out of the house of a blind man that really knows the place, like you better shut up, right? If you're not blind and whispering too much.
Right, you're not really doing that.
It becomes all this like experience of just trying to get out of there, and it gets very intense, and it's really about camera work and sound design and music and great performances, and it's a very unique film in that aspect.
Well, it looks like, just from seeing this, just the pace of it. Now, we only have a few minutes, but maybe we'll open up our house a little bit. Open it up to our folks out there. If you have a few questions for either Fede or Stephen, let's go for it. Yeah, right here.
I saw
Nice and loud. Stand up.
I saw the movie Thursday.
Cool.
Okay. I was so happy to hear that you actually filmed part of it in Detroit.
Are you from Detroit?
Originally.
Most people are originally from Detroit.
Yeah, well, there's not much of it left anymore, is there? With
Great backlot. I can see why they shot there.
keeping that in mind, how much do you think that plays into the fact that, let me rephrase that, do you think that the movie would be different if it was set anywhere but Detroit?
Well, the story can only take place in Detroit, I think. I mean, there's other pockets there's definitely other cities in the state that have some of those neighborhoods that, that grow up very fast at some point and then shrink back and just people left and left like, the ones you will see in the movie. But I think the one that people associate the most, unfortunately, is with Detroit and some of that area. And I think that represents Detroit today. I love that city. All my movies, every character they're all from Michigan. And I think it's a city, all the cities in the States that just remind me of home, because I'm from Montevideo, Uruguay, where we were in the 50s, our meat factories were amazing, and the city was doing great, and then all that shut down, and kind of that sense, the city that all the best things feels that are behind us. It's a sense that you get in Detroit. We grew up with our parents telling us, like, yeah, forget about it, the best part is already over, which is a horrible thing to say to a generation. But so that's why I usually make characters are from there, because I feel I can understand those guys. I think that it's the only place where it could happen for many reasons, but also because, as in any scary movie, usually you have a sense of isolation, and you need to have the story in a place that, when you have neighbors that will come and see what's happening. And more importantly, you need a place where the police won't show up, and believe me, those neighborhoods, they won't show up. Actually, someone told me that, like, that if something happened in that house, like, the police, even if you call them, it would take 2 days to show up to see what's happening. Because their grids are just one family living in a huge grid. So that's why I think it's unique, not just for the things that it does for the story, but because of the isolation. But particularly for me, it means a lot. And the characters, I could relate to them.
Thank you. Can we have more house light? Yeah, right there.
I'm just curious, do you have any horror directors who inspire you, or that you like their movies? Maybe it's you kind of, I know you were talking about ghosts, and there's directors like James Wan, and there's a bunch of ghost stories and stuff like that, but are there directors that you maybe not like want to film like or anything, but you're like, okay, they do this well, so,
Oh yeah, I mean, always, but I think influences are a strange thing. I mean, sometimes we're not even very conscious of, who influences us. It's just like you probably, someone told you once, like, oh, you speak like your best friend, or you walk like your dad, and you never know until someone points it out. And I think when you make movies, it's kind of the same thing. Even an actor has a style that he even doesn't know where he got it from. He probably got it from an actor he loved when he was a kid, right? And I think there's always a lot of that. So I think for this particular movie, I think Hitchcock was definitely an influence because of the style of the movie and the kind of story that it was, and the fact that the characters, nobody's good. Usually in these movies, it's bad people against worse people. And it makes it very interesting because it's very hard to know who deserves to win. And I would say that, and then the Polanski's of the world, those kind of directors are always an influence for this kind of story.
So we have just a few more minutes, maybe we'll take like 3 more questions. Yeah, right here.
Hi, my name is John.
Hey.
I was here last night, saw the film. You knocked it out of the park.
Thank you so much.
Everybody involved was brilliant. You did a fantastic job. Thank you for being here and doing this. I have a little background in film school and stuff like that, and I'm an editor, actually, and sound is one of my favorite things to work with. And one thing I noticed with this movie, and you talked about sound, Bruce, but one thing I noticed about it was the movie's called Don't Breathe, but almost every person's breath in this movie is so out there and in your face, and I'm wondering if you can elaborate a little bit more about that and how you used sound to really control the audience's emotions.
Well, it was because, like I said at the beginning, everything was in the story, in the script. The fact that they're trying to be very, very, very quiet for a long part of the movie, and in order to make that work, I think the way it works in the movie, and what he's talking about is really like the trip that the movie take you in is that one of sound and images, right? You're always like kind of hypnotized by the movie. That's what I try to do, and it was in part with this thing that I heard once. David Lynch said something about that he always, and one thing he doesn't, the directors never do, is that when he's shooting a scene, he's thinking about what music is going to be in the scene and what kind of sound design the scene is going to have. When most people actually figure that out later, right, in post-production. And I heard that, I was like, oh man, I'm an idiot. I didn't maybe making movies without really paying attention to that. So in this one, I realized like every day I'm going to be very aware of how it's going to sound and how much music is going to be in the scene, so they're really allowed to create a very, very precise sound design like usually you don't get.
Thank you.
Somebody's actually at a microphone.
Yeah, the first lady actually kind of stole my question about Detroit.
Okay, so thank you very much.
So, I did see the movie last night, it was awesome. And when they were talking it up before they showed the film, they were, this is one of the best horror movies you're going to see in the theater in a long time. As for my mind, the last great horror movie I saw in the theaters was It Follows, which was awesome, but also set in Detroit. So did you kind of see Detroit as a character for the film? And
well, I don't know if it was a character. I think it was just like I was telling her. I think it was a place. It's the only place where this story could take place in. And honestly, when I saw It Follows, I didn't. I mean, I'm aware that it was in Detroit, but I remember like I didn't register that. I think it wasn't a part of the story in Detroit, right? It could have been said in any story. I think when you get in this movie, that I think is important for me is like every element that happens to the story could just happen in this story. Like that scene you just saw can only happen in this setup, right? In the context of this story. So that means it's not generic. You won't get it in every movie. This movie, like for people that saw it last night, I'm sure you can agree that most of the things that happen are pretty unique because they just belong in this story. They're not generic. They're not going to happen anything. And usually the scene that comes afterward, you can never guess it. And that guy knows what I'm talking about, right? There's a particular scene in the movie where things get pretty fucked up. And there's no way nobody here could go, oh yeah, I know what's coming now. And you go like, I told you. No, everybody goes like, what the fuck? And that's what I'm trying to do.
yeah, that scene is really messed up, but that's one of the things that make that movie so great. So yeah.
All right, I think let's do one last excellent question, and we'll let you get back to your lives. Yeah.
I have a question. When you guys were like creating the film, do you guys regret not choosing any audio clips or anything? Because the movie highly goes well with like audio, and that's the main importance of it. But did you guys think maybe you should have added something else, like, oh, why didn't I use this, or why didn't I put
Like
this
if I regret some choices, you mean? Like I should have done something different?
Yeah.
Well, you always do that. Like, I mean, every time I watch a movie that I've done, as soon as I finish it, I watch it and I hate it. I want to kill myself. Like, oh, piece of shit, I'm not even working yet. That's usually like any responsible artist should feel that way.
That's me when I watch Alien Apocalypse.
I think it's a very natural thing to have, and usually time will tell if the movie is good, and for us involved, it's always hard to just think, now I'm happy with the film, like, but as soon as you finish, it's always like mixed feelings. So yes, there's definitely things that I will do differently, I guess. But right now, like watching last night, it was quite a show, and I always enjoy watching the film with an audience. I make these films for you guys, for an audience, and every time I have the chance, I have to sit down with you and watch the film, I do it.
Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please give me a big round of applause. Stephen Lang, Fede Alvarez, Don't Worry.